Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lazy Hype, where we talk all things wellness. Today, I am very lucky to have Greg on the podcast. He is a soul friend that I like to call.
Mhm.
He has a wonderful company called Sound and Soul, and it's an ironic name for me because I feel like it's been his sound with him and his partner that have really impacted my soul, my life. And I like to say that I'm like their number one fan. So, Greg, thank you so much for being here.
People that ever come to our classes. So you were there from the beginning.
Oh, I love that. It's probably
Yeah.
why I'm like texting you all of the time and being like, when can I get into your session?
I know, I know.
I'd love to just get started with, for those that haven't attended one of your sessions, what is Sound and Soul, and also what got you to want to build Sound and Soul?
So Sound and Soul is a guided meditation and a sun bath experience. My partner Julie, she plays piano. She's been a musician for like over 20 years now, and she really wanted to get into the wellness space, same as me. I've been a musician for a little bit as well, and I was really looking for a different route with it. And I've already been doing meditations so many, like ever since I just moved to LA. And so we started Sound and Soul, and I'll get into like how we met and how it all started in just a second. But what it is basically I lead visualizations, meditation. So it's a guided experience that takes you on a whole inward journey. We start with the breath, and then we usually it depends on the theme of like the week, what's kind of going on in the astrology, what the world kind of feels like, and kind of what I feel intuitively. But there are journeys that range from flowing on a river and imagining things like letting go to on a hike in the forest and seeing the full body mirror and doing a full body scan and inviting love in to like your inner child and to cut the cord from like your past self to your future self. So just a wide range of visualizations that we go through that are really detailed to try to really bring you into the experience. And throughout the whole thing, Julie is playing this very beautiful melodic piano and melodic, I said melodic, melodic piano. And then she also has soundscapes on there and that will have like synth sounds and stuff like that. So the first half is like I lead you through the breath and just like dropping into the awareness and present moment. And then once we go into the visualization, she'll start just having fun with the synth sounds and all those things. So it sounds like a crazy experience as you're like time traveling through like these vortexes, going on your own inward journey. And so they're really, to me, I feel like they're really transformational. And now that we've been doing so many like breathwork courses and more meditation courses, it's just they've gotten so much deeper and so much more expansive in what we do. And how it all started was there's a nonprofit here called Super Bloom Collective. Great, great people. And I was in talks with them ever since I moved to LA and I started my own classes here in Santa Monica. It wasn't until like a year later I actually met them in person, and they invited me to a couple of their events. And I went to the very first one I went to. Julie was there, and Julie ended up. Julie was roommates with one of my former coworkers, and I never knew that. I worked with this girl for like 8 months, and I like managed at the restaurant. She was there serving. I was there bartending and managing, and we were good friends. And then she was always intertwined with Super Bloom, so I knew her already. She introduced me to Julie, and it was like we met for a quick second, and then I was like running around, like talking with the co-founders and like all of that, and I was talking with them about leading meditations for them and for their events that they have going on. And Julie, like within that same 2 hour time span, talked to one of the other co-founders too about how could she like help out with meditations. And then right at the end of the event, I like walked up to them as they were having the conversation. He was like, "Oh, well, this is great." He was like, "Hey, have you guys met? This is Greg. Like, Julie, Greg, Julie. Like, you guys, Julie wants to do what you're already doing." And so he was like, "And so I think that you guys should totally like collaborate and see what happens, and we'd love to like make something out of it." We're like, "Okay, great." So we exchanged information and we started talking, and then one thing led to another. We had the same goal with this, and it was really just to like make meditations and these wellness experiences accessible for more people. Because one of the things that we noticed about LA and the culture here was that there's a lot of luxury wellness and events and like ceremonies going on where it's like you're paying like 55, 70, 80, to like get into these stores and have these transformational experiences. But there's so many people that need this, that want this, that can't afford that. So we wanted to make it accessible, which is why we partner with Super Bloom, who do all their events donation based. We absolutely love that. So then we started talking about making our event. And before we even came up with the name Sound and Soul, we were just like playing around with what the event would look like, the structure, and then Julie was leading showcases for artists in like at Hotel Cafe. I ended up doing a show with her, and she played piano, and then I like did some of my songs over it, and then from there, like all of our musical um, talents and skills kind of collided together, along with everything spiritual. And then one day, like as we started to form a closer bond, we started really loving the idea of Sound and Soul. And then one day we're like, well, what name should we do? What name should we do? And then like instantly I was like, oh, Sound and Soul. Like it only makes sense. She was like, I love it. And so then that's what happened. And ever since our first event with Super Bloom, it was like right after that, just boom, 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 boom. We just started lining up with like different events and different people reaching out to us. And so now that's pretty much what we do weekly. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you say that you like energetically manifested each other in a way because you're both to me you're like the perfect match in so many ways, like both super talented when it comes to sound, you with your voice, her with the piano. It's like the perfect blend. So it
Hmm.
truly is a beautiful experience every time. And the fact that now there's also breath work incorporated, I think that's
Hmm.
amazing. But I think it's really hard to find people that you can build such beauty with, and also just like genuinely like love, like the love you two have for each other is so like pure and clear. And for me it's like couple goals. I'm like, oh my god, if I could have that kind of like love and also that kind of like beautiful business model that like builds such
Hmm.
good community, like that to me seems like a dream. So like, how do I make that happen,
Yeah.
Greg?
Well, thank you so much for that, first off. I definitely think in a way we manifested each other into each other's lives. Because I was doing these events and I partnered with a few different facilitators. Like whenever I first was doing my meditation classes here in Santa Monica, they were called Soulful Sunday. And I had a friend with me that worked with me at the restaurant at the time, and she was an astrologer. And so we were collaborating weekly. And then little by little, she kind of started going on her own journey with her company, and I started kind of like branching out as well. And so then once I decided to get into fitness more and then do more meditations on my own, I was like, well, how can I still continue with these classes? And I collaborated with another person that did sound bowls. And it was great experiences all across the board, but it was never anything that like what me and Julie had, or like what we have now. It was always like, oh, these are great collaborations, these are great events, great, but they were like one-time things, you know what I mean? Like, okay, one here, one there, one here, one there. And then the moment that me and Julie met, and in a way at that season of my life, I'm not gonna say I was looking for a relationship, but I was definitely open to it. And I was like, I feel like I'll find my person just out in the world as long as I just get outside, maybe she'll come. You know what I mean? And whenever me and Julie first met, I wasn't thinking like that we would end up in this relationship and be growing our business at the same time. I was just like, oh, well, this could be another great collaboration. And just throughout the 4 or 5 months that we were planning that first event, it just grew into so much more, very fast. And it's like sometimes you just meet people and it's just undeniable. Like, it's like that connection is just there. And there's
Yeah.
so many synchronicities from our lives with each other whenever it came to music, spirituality, where we both were in our journeys and how we both ended up in LA at the same time and at the same event, and how her best friend and roommate was my one of my coworkers for like a good 8 months, and I've never even met her before, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it was just so many like crazy synchronicities, and we knew a lot of the same people too. And so we were just like, "Whoa, this is what does this mean? What does this mean?" And